Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Rise podcast with me, your host, Katie Oman, women's empowerment coach, author, book coach, and all round fabulous human being. So, today, as ever, I am here to show you another episode. I created this because I wanted to have a platform for women's stories to inspire and motivate and empower all of us. Because, as you all know by now, I really believe in the power of women's stories. So, I have another amazing woman to introduce you to today, and we're going to all hear all about her and what she does. So, Rita Parmar, thank you so much for being here with me. I'm so honored that you could come on this with me today and have this chat with me. And as ever, I'm not going to sit here and introduce you. The best person to do that is you. So, I will give you the floor and you can tell us all about you and who you are. So, welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you so much, Lisa. And yeah, absolute pleasure to meet you finally face to face, albeit virtually. I'm Rita Parmar. So I'm a mindset and life coach. I think that's the best way to describe it. Outside of work, I'm a wife and I'm a mummy to my 10-year-old daughter and my 8-year-old son. My background is in HR. So I've got around, I'd say, over 20 years in HR. And I started off in HR being quite a shy, introverted young girl that was quite happily just working away within a comfort zone. And I guess I grew in my role. I then had children. I got married. I had children, and I think that's when something kind of changed in me. Having that time off and spending time with my children, changing as a person. When I came back to work, on both maternity leaves, let me just say, I often thought of I want to do something else. I need to do something else much more meaningful. I was kind of bored, but both times I went back to HR. I went back to the same organization because it was just easier going back to what you know after you've had such a huge, profound change at home in your life, in your body. So I went back to HR, and it wasn't until I kind of sidestepped into the world of organizational development, which I guess looking back now, it was just more me, just being able to be more creative. I guess my personality really shone. I got to meet different types of people, which were, I guess, a little bit more like how I was. I was also I was pushed out of my comfort zone, going for an organizational development partner role because, from hiding, let's say hiding in HR was very much working in front of a screen. A lot of my work, yes, I'd talk to stakeholders, managers, directors, individuals, and I'd support them, but my work was very much in front of a screen. And that shifted in my new role, and I was in front of people, I was facilitating training, I was designing, I was standing up. And for me, that was coming out of my comfort zone, standing up in front of 30 people, delivering training a couple of times a week. Looking back, that was huge because I was scared. I was sweating when I did my first few presentations, but it changed me and it made me realize actually I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying having those conversations with people. I then went into coaching. I did a coaching qualification, and I guess that's what's really brought me where I am here today. Just being able to have like deep and meaningful conversations with different types of people, getting someone into that one-to-one space and seeing their vulnerabilities come out into what's actually going on, like going beyond surface level conversations.
Yeah.
And that's an aspect that I absolutely love. And I guess that's what changed me. And I thought, after being stuck, and I look at it as being stuck maybe in HR for 20 years and just breaking out of that, staying in an organization for 11 years and having some kind of feeling and thinking, I want to do something more meaningful. I need to do something more meaningful. And just kind of being here today, you know, I've set up my own business. I'm now coaching others. I'm coaching women and I'm helping them and being there, I guess, as a stand for them kind of going back on the own journey that I've had. I want to be there for others to help them. That, are they meant for more? Like the clients that I work with are, let's say, clients that are up to something in their life, those that are dreaming bigger, those that want to do something that's a little bit, let's say, scary, that's a little bit edgy, but maybe they haven't got that support to push them to do it. That's the type of clients that I work with today.
Oh, it sounds fabulous. And, I really applaud your bravery, really, and your courage, which may sound quite a strange thing to say to, hear to some people. But I appreciate that having that role for 20 years and stepping away from it to start your own business is a massively brave and courageous thing to do. I mean, how did that feel? How did you come to that decision that you had to take that huge leap? What was that like for you?
So, also let me just say that so my career has been in HR for 20 years, but I was in the same role for, I'd say, just over 11 years,
Yeah.
still a very long time. And it was more of a feeling that I had.
Mm,
It was just, I was switched off. I was very switched off at work. Um, Passion wasn't there anymore.
yeah.
And that's when I thought I need to do something different. And that different wasn't, I'll leave this organization and I'll go into another organization and do something similar. It was almost like I just need to do something completely different now. And I almost want to add value to people. And that's why I was talking about the coaching, that, having conversations with people, having quite powerful conversations. And from my side, thinking back then, they were just conversations because I was doing a different type of coaching then. I guess I was more newish to coaching, but just getting that feedback from different people that, you've given me confidence to go and do X, Y, and Z. And I'm now thinking of doing this. And it's almost like there's a door in front of us. Sometimes we need someone to just slightly open that door for us
Mm.
so that we can step through it. And that's the person that I want to be for others. That's the person that I am for my clients. It's almost opening that door so they can believe that they can step through that door, and let's just see what's awaiting for you on the other side.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love that. And as a coach myself, I totally get that. It is hugely transformative. And I always see it as a huge blessing that you can be that person. You can be that facilitator, you can be that safe space for somebody. It's quite a privilege, I think. That's how I see it anyway.
Yeah, I think, not everyone wants to be coached, and that's absolutely fine. But those that do want to be coached, they can absolutely go and reach their goals.
Mm,
But I always think that, and I always go back to my own experiences, that if I had a coach or a mentor or someone just supporting me, let's say 10 years ago, 20 years ago, gosh, I probably would have been a completely different
yeah.
person, because we all need that person to almost challenge us,
Mm,
um, question us, be curious, give us different options, and show us different ways. And I find that we can't change our own thinking with our own thinking. We need somebody else to hold us accountable. And it's like, that's why I think now, let's be that someone for somebody else. Let's add value. Let's help someone change or transform their life in a way that they want to, by just being there, walking with them, let's say shoulder to shoulder, supporting them.
oh yeah, absolutely. And I love the way you frame that. I think it's everything you said, I totally agree with. And I think, I don't know, you seem to say that in the most beautiful way that really shows the value of coaching. I think the right coach for the right person. And I agree, because even if somebody is open to coaching, doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be a good fit with the first coach that they find. And that's fine. I think it's to see it not so much as you have to pick me, and I have to work with every single person. nowadays there's quite a lot of coaches, which is great in a lot of ways. But I think it's to be discerning about that relationship as well between the client and the coach, and to say that it's just like any other relationship. It's one that requires trust. It's one that's, I think, it requires a certain amount of work to some degree, especially if someone's going to be that vulnerable with you. And I think it's okay to say that not everybody is for you and you are not for everybody as well.
Oh, absolutely. I think by being there for someone, by having those deep conversations, you almost know, don't you, that I'm happy to work with this person firstly. Is that person happy to work with me? And then that relationship just, I guess, goes into new levels from
Yeah.
there. And you just allow it to as well. And it's like you said, it's about trust, it's about being open and honest. It's being able to just feel comfortable in a space where you can just be. Because if we
Yeah.
think about it, a lot of the time, I find anyway, from the type of clients I get, that you're in work, you're in tunnel vision, and it's go, 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 and you're performing to the role. And sometimes we become a person who we think that we're meant to be. And it's
Yeah.
only when we step out of that and actually start talking to someone like a coach or a mentor, that we realize that I'm actually not that person. I'm this person, and this is my real personality, and this is what I really want to do. And
Mm,
you don't get a chance to say that. It's only when you come out of your day to day, your tunnel vision, and you have that space to just speak to someone that you trust, that you find, actually, who am I? What's my real personality like? Where do I really shine? Where do I really want to go in life? And what's stopping me, which is such a big thing. What's stopping
oh
you
yeah.
get where
Yeah.
you need to be?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I have a therapist now once every couple of weeks, and she said something that really still sticks with me. You're always something to somebody else. What about you? And I was like, oof, like I really felt it. And that's the thing, isn't it? It's that coaching relationship. It becomes like that is your time, that is your space. This isn't about your kids or your partner or your boss. This is like you and somebody who is listening, somebody who is trying to support you with where you're at, and trying to be, and I know it's not always easy, but trying to be as no judgmental as possible.
Yeah, no, I really agree with that. And while you were speaking, you've just reminded me that I guess if I think back to myself and my journey, I was I felt I was stuck a lot of the time, and it was because of my mindset.
Mm,
It was thinking that maybe I can't do any better, or I'm not good enough to go and do X, Y, and Z. And a
yeah,
lot of us, we have all these dreams, we have all these, these huge plans in our heads, and they naturally we don't allow them to actually come alive because of our own thinking. And it's either what we've told ourselves, so these voices that we keep, I talk about this, or I write about this in a lot of my content on LinkedIn around mindset, and how it can be the biggest barrier in
oh
just
yeah.
stopping us from going where we want to go in life. And we either tell ourselves things, or we start listening to those negative voices, or a lot of the time it's things that we've experienced when we were much younger, things that people have told us, and we tend to carry that around with us as we get older. And it's only when we actually take a step back and we think about it, or someone gives us that space to talk about it, that we think,
Yeah.
that was just me telling myself something, or that was just somebody else that doesn't really know me
Mm,
as well as they think they do, telling me something. And again, it's having that space for someone to just be curious and really open up what's going on
yeah.
inside of you.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, I say to people all the time, not everything that you carry is yours. Like, whose story is that? And it could be from your parents or teachers or friends or whoever, ex-partners, but you'll have all these thoughts and stories in you, and most of them are not yours. And yet it's amazing, I think, how much of an impact they can have on us without even fully realizing it. So I totally agree with you on that. And in that vein, I suppose the question that comes to mind really is, I used to use the word failure, but actually I don't believe in failure. I think it's all lessons and growth. So in that essence, what has been the biggest lesson for you on your journey thus far?
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. I'm really glad you said that you don't like to use the word failure because I don't. It's such a negative word, and it's almost
Mm,
what have I learned? And, I used to really regret, if I look back, I used to really regret staying in HR for so long and
mm,
thinking now, staying in a role that wasn't really me and I was bored, but I don't know why I just stayed in the role. And I used to really think, oh, if I'd moved out of the company or if I'd moved up or if I'd done X, Y, and Z, I would be in a different place right now. But then, like more recently, I asked myself, well, maybe, just maybe, I wouldn't be in this position right now
mm,
if I had moved, changed career, gone into a different organization. Maybe I needed to go through what I went through. Maybe I needed to become quite stagnant, quite bored, quite fed up,
yeah,
and quite frustrated for something just to click, because that's what happened. Something just clicked in me, and it was a feeling that I just don't want to do this anymore. And it was a huge risk because I just kind of, after 11 years, I just kind of thought, right, this is it. It's now or never. And I still remember the conversation that I had with my manager, and I think I was shaking because it was huge. I've been with the company for so long, and it's like I'm
yeah,
now looking to do something quite different and something quite risky, just starting up by yourself, not knowing, is it going to work? Isn't it going to work? But my mindset is kind of like, I will make it work. And it's
yeah,
not a case of it won't work. I will make it work, and I will change, I will adapt where I need to, I will pivot where I need to, and it'll kind of be, they say it fluctuates. There'll be ups and downs, but
mm,
I'll make it work. Whatever it is, I'll make it work.
yeah, absolutely. And I suppose, would you say then to people watching this that that self-awareness and that honesty, like, is your comfort zone still comfortable? Right? I think it's a really hard question because you have to acknowledge the truth that it might not be. And then the question is, well, if not this, then what? Right? And so obviously for you, those feelings of like, I can't stay here anymore, I have to do something.
Mm.
And would you say that that kind of honesty and self-awareness is really key to shifting that mindset?
Yeah, I absolutely do. I think that's something that you have to have in yourself. I don't think no coach or mentor can give you that initial feeling. It has to come from within.
Yeah.
I want to do something different. I need to do something different. And it has to be a feeling. I'm psychometrics accredited, so I know around personalities and communication styles and our behaviors and how we're all quite different. And you get those that make decisions based on how they think. So they're those that they'll go with what's logical. They're quite analytical. What's worked before, or you'll get those that are more feelers, and that's me. They'll make decisions based on how they feel.
Yeah.
And I always used to think that maybe I should be making more decisions based on what I think, what's more logical. But now I'm in this coaching arena, and it's all about feelings.
Yeah.
It has to come from here. So, and now it's like, no, I'll just stick with my intuition. And what I've always done is I've made choices and decisions based on how I feel. That gut feeling,
Oh
if
yeah.
it's right, if it's wrong.
Yeah. And so yeah, I think it's really key. And I say honesty is always the thing, right? So there's no point in lying to yourself. Yes, leaving the comfort zone is really scary and it's brings a lot of fear with it, but you have to be honest with yourself about what's right for you. And for some people, staying where they are is, it's fine. That's what's good for them, that's what they want. But for the rest of us, once you have that acknowledgement of you want something more, you need something more, this is not satisfying you anymore, it's like, well, okay, now what? Right. And that's like a question in and of itself. And, for you, I'm so happy that you were able to answer that. I know, and that's where coaching is great, because for for some people, it's not that straightforward, is it? Sadly.
No, it absolutely isn't. And a question that always comes up in my coaching conversations is, people talk about my clients talk about taking a risk and what feels right. And I'll,
Mm,
you know, I'll always ask them that what is the bigger risk here?
yeah,
Is the bigger risk for you to go into and discover areas that you haven't discovered and become uncomfortable? Or is the bigger risk
yeah,
staying where you are for another 2 to 5 years? Like, what do you want? Do you want to stay where you are and just be in the same place with the same feeling in another couple of years, or actually do you want to be in another place? And
yeah,
you'll never
yeah.
know that until you've kind of taken that first step into that other place.
Oh, absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. So, knowing what you know now, and knowing, and I know it's hard to say, because in some regards, like, and I really believe that everything does happen for a reason, and I believe that your path brought you to this place now. But knowing what you know now, and if you could go back in some kind of DeLorean, Back to the Future time machine, what would you say to your younger self, knowing what you know now? Quite a big
I would,
question.
yeah, it's a big question, but it's something I guess that I've been asked before, and I would say, I would say I was quietly confident when I was younger, and I would say show off that quiet confidence, and
Mm,
amongst it could be amongst friends or it could be in a meeting at work, speak what you're thinking, because a lot of the time what I was thinking inside, I was sitting there quietly, others were then saying, and it was like, oh, why didn't I say that? And it
yeah,
was almost I held myself back, and I guess that all just links into mindset and self-belief and not having maybe that confidence. And
mm,
now, yeah, if I had to speak to my younger self, absolutely speak your mind. Obviously be respectful, but yeah, speak your mind, share your thoughts, ask those deeper, open-ended questions that you really want to ask. And
I
and,
love
and
that.
yeah, and just go out there and almost show the world who you really are, and
Mm,
that fire that you've got in you. I know I always had a fire inside me, but it was almost like it was always kept down, and it's almost sometimes you need to release that for other people to see who you really are. And and another thing that you've just reminded me of is I would say I've been told I'm quite a softly spoken person, and I used to find that my softness, or my, let's say, my kindness might have been taken as a weakness,
yeah.
and that can happen quite easily when people don't really know you, or they don't really get to know the real you. Kindness is just surface level, or when it's seen as sometimes a weakness just because you are quieter than others, you're not fiery as others, you don't
Mm,
always want to speak like others. And it's almost, I guess, now doing this, I've just feel like I've just come out of my shell, and all of those questions where those things that I wasn't unsure about, that I guess that lack of confidence, now it's like don't really care what others think. This is
mm,
me, and I'm out there to help other people who are also, in that same or similar situation that I
yeah.
was in, that want to break free from something, whatever it is, wherever they're stuck in work or in their life, is their mindset barrier for them? If it is, let's talk, let's look at what's really going on beneath the
Yeah.
surface. Where are you now? And ultimately, where do you want to get to?
Yeah, I love that. And it's so true. I mean, I have the opposite. People see me as quite extroverted and quite loud, but that can be seen as being quite aggressive, which is like the last thing I am ever. I'm like I couldn't fight my way out of a wet paper bag. I am like soft as anything. But there's all this perception on people. And I think women, there's a lot of perceptions on women as to kind of who we are, but also who we're expected to be and who
Yeah.
they want us to be. Um, as a woman in the coaching world specifically, do you find that it comes with its own challenges doing that role?
I'd say not specifically in coaching,
Mm,
but I'd say in general, that's why I've decided to, when I first started coaching, when I first kind of, set up my business, I was like, I'm going to be an advocate for women and I'm going to coach for women. Then after a couple of months, that changed for whatever reason it changed, and now I've just gone back to coaching women. It's not to say I won't coach men. Of course,
yeah,
I would if someone comes along and there's the chemistry there and we're able to click, absolutely. But being a woman myself, experiencing, I guess, what I've experienced, and that there is a gap in the market. I do find women do have to work a little bit harder, prove themselves a little bit more to get where they want to be. Absolutely, I'm going to support women. Why not? To help them get where they want
absolutely.
to be.
I mean, you're preaching to the choir over here. You really are. But I get it completely, and I think that with one of the criticisms, I suppose, or one of the things that is said is that women are too nice, right? So they do not push themselves forward enough. They won't push themselves forward for promotions or for pay rises or going for a job opportunity because they tell themselves they're not qualified enough or they're not skilled enough. Whereas, and I know I'm generalizing, I appreciate, but in general, the studies have found that men don't seem to do that in the same way that women do, right? So I suppose the leading question from that is, if a woman is watching this, our interview, and is feeling that and wishes that she could push herself forward a little bit more and be a little bit more braver, I suppose, how would you even say to her to start that process?
Gosh, I would say whatever your mindset is telling you, if it's something negative, it's difficult, but just try and flip it to maybe if they're thinking I don't have skill set or I won't get that job or I'm underqualified, just flip it to I am qualified. What if I did get that job?
Mm-hmm.
What if that's the perfect job for me? And it's just it's just flipping things that are currently stopping us. That again, it's that negative mindset where we're telling ourselves that we can't do things. And it's like, how about you just try anyway and see what happens?
Yeah,
You might not get it, but how about we just try anyway? And that's, yeah, I guess that's what, when I left my employment of 11 years and I did this, that was the mindset that I went with. I didn't know if it was going to work. I was entering a completely new field in terms of solopreneurship, but I thought, let me just try anyway. Let's
yeah,
see if it works. And until you start telling yourself that, that door's always going to be closed. You're always going to keep that door closed. And it's about let's open it slightly and just have a feel of what's out there.
yeah. I love
Am
that.
I ready to just start feeling uncomfortable? Because actually being uncomfortable is the most comfortable feeling, if that makes sense, because
Yeah.
you're growing, you're learning.
Oh, totally, totally. And it's the thing, isn't it? I say to people that, look, if you don't try, you'll be where you are. The answer is going to change. If you put yourself out there and the answer is no, or you don't hear anything, you haven't lost anything, right? But you're not going to know unless you try, right? It's one of those things where you have to be brave. 10 seconds of bravery can change your
Yeah,
life. That's all it takes, is just to approach that person or send that email, or whatever it is for everybody watching. 10 seconds of just intense bravery is magic. It really can be, if you are brave enough to give it a go, right?
absolutely. And don't get me wrong, I struggle with it like everyone
Yeah,
does. I still do, but it's about just focusing on what's stopping me.
yeah.
Why am I not doing it? It's almost like, okay, just do it. Forget everything, disregard everything else, just focus and do it. Like pick up the phone, have that conversation.
Absolutely. Sometimes I kind of channel like somebody really inspirational, like Beyonce. And it's almost like, what would Beyonce do? Beyonce wouldn't sit here doubting herself. She would just send the goddamn email, right? And so it's kind of, you can like almost put somebody else's mask on for 10 seconds and kind of be that energy, not be that person, but step into that energy, step into their shoes. It may give you the courage, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I think she wouldn't just send that email. She would she would promote that email that, look what, and it's about taking it to another level. Sometimes we just have to, let's say grab the bull by the horns, as they
Yeah,
say, and just just
absolutely.
just just get out and do it. Because if you don't do
Mm,
it, it's probably going to be a regret that you're always going to look back on and think, opportunity was there, why didn't I take it? And I think I don't know if it was something someone told me or something that I read, and it's always stuck with me that sometimes we think that we don't have a choice and we're stuck and there's all these challenges and we're not able to reach our goals and do X, Y, and Z because we don't have a choice. But there's always a choice. There's
yeah.
always an opportunity. Sometimes we just don't see it that way, but there is always an opportunity, and it might be the difficult roads, doing
Mm,
something that we never thought was possible, but
mm,
there is always a choice there, and sometimes we just have to
absolutely.
grab those choices, those opportunities that come our way. We don't see them as opportunities at the time. If I look back now, I always think, gosh, that was an opportunity, that was an opportunity, that was a missed opportunity.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love that. No, I think that's a wonderful takeaway for everybody. So thank you for that. So what's next for you on this journey? Have you got plans moving forward? Do you have a growth mindset, as it were? What is next for you on this journey?
Yes. So I would definitely say I'm still growing and learning
Hmm.
person as a coach. And I want to be able to be that person to help others grow on their journey.
Yeah.
In terms of what's next for me, who knows? It's almost like I'm an open book. Whatever opportunities come up, I will take them. I could have a group coaching program for women. That's something that I've thought about. I'd like to do something international as well. I'm just thinking at the moment of what could I do? What different diversity groups could I reach out,
Mm.
outside of the UK? So who knows? Let's see. It's early days at the moment, but yeah, I would like to just add value and make a difference in someone's life. If I could, I always think we've got one life, and we can either just live our life as we are, or we can start to take steps to live the life that we want to live. And if I can just make a difference somehow, somewhere in someone's life, that I've encouraged them to do X, Y, and Z, that will be enough for me.
Oh, it's beautiful. I love that. I love that. It's wonderful. So, Rita, where can we all find you? Do you have your website? Do you have your social media links? If people want to find out more about you and working with you, where would they go?
Sure. So I'm on LinkedIn. That's my main platform at the moment for business. I'm on LinkedIn now. There's probably a lot of Rita Palmers out there. So I'd say what if you're looking for me on LinkedIn, what probably make me stand out is I've got four bright colored dots right next to my name on LinkedIn. So it's green, yellow, red, and blue, and that's linked to the psychometrics accreditation that I have. It shows my preferences. So yeah, if you are looking for me on LinkedIn, look for the Rita Parmar, Parmar spelt with a M-A-R. Yeah, on LinkedIn.
Yes, and I'll put all the links down in the show notes. So, like I say, if anybody is interested in finding out more about Rita or potentially working with her, then go and click after the video and find out more about her. But honestly, Rita, I knew this would be a great conversation today, and it's been fascinating. And I really admire you, and I think you're incredibly inspiring for making such a brave shift in your life. And I hope that the women watching this, well, the people watching this, also are inspired and have real good takeaways to think about for themselves. So thank you, honestly.
Thank you. It's been great. It's been great to yeah, just have the pleasure to be here and speak to you and just share my journey, my mission, and hopefully people are resonating with this.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, guys, thank you for watching. I hope that you have found this as interesting as I have. And like I say, if you're interested in working with Rita, go and check her out because she's fabulous. But go and have the best day. And no doubt, as ever, I will speak to you soon. Bye, everybody.